Hello friends, we have a very common question in mind, and that is, if I make the nomination, is it necessary to have a will? That is there any difference between nomination and will? Well, the answer is yes, there is a difference. Let us see that difference today in this episode. Many times, every person has a bank account, bank fixed deposits. He might have been insured and has taken a policy. He might have invested in shares or debentures or some postal securities. It is quite important to know that who will receive this money after the death of that depositor, investor, insured. The answer to this is the legal heirs are entitled to the proceeds of these investments. Well, they are entitled. Therefore, they become the owners after the death of the investor. But what about receiving the money from that bank, that insurance company, etc.? Because receiving the money may become complicated if there are too many successors or more than one successor. The bank or the insurance company will have to find out the person to whom this amount is to be handed over. How that person is decided? That is decided by nomination. So a nominee is a person whose name, address, age, etc. is mentioned by the depositor, by the investor, by the insured person in a form, and that form is signed and handed over to the organization. In other words, by nomination, the investor authorizes the organization to pay the amount after his death to the person nominated. So here the authority is given only to receive the amount from the concerned bank or insurance company or other organization. This nomination does not give any authority to the recipient to become the owner of that amount. So the nominee is simply authorized to receive. He does not become the owner. The nominee could be anybody. The nominee could be the relative of the depositor, the insured, or the investor. Or he could be any third party. When he makes the investment or takes the policy, he can mention the name of the nominee. But if he doesn't do it initially, he can do it anytime thereafter till the maturity. Once a nominee is appointed, it is possible always that you can change the nominee. The nominee could be one person, or the nominee could be two or more persons. Because many times what happens, if suppose I make a mention of the nominee and before I die, the nominee dies, then in that case that nomination becomes useless. Hence many times the sequential, the serial names of nominees are mentioned in the nomination form. Needless to say that every organization has a nomination form. The investor or depositor has to fill up that form and make a signature on that form and hand over it to the organization. If it is serial or sequential nomination, it means that after the death of the depositor or the investor, the first named nominee is authorized to receive the amount. If he is alive, the second name of the nominee naturally becomes useless. You can make nomination proportionate also. That is, you can have, for example, 2 names of the nominees, specifying that 60% will go to the first nominee and 40% will have to be handed over to the second nominee. I repeat once again, this is only for the authority to receive the amount, and there is no ownership of that amount transferred. If nomination is not made, then well, the bank or the insurance company or any other organization where the amount is invested will not hand over the amount to anybody. The organization will ask the heirs, legal successors, to go to the court, obtain a succession certificate and a probate, hand it over to the organization, and accordingly the amount will be transferred to the person mentioned therein. In order to avoid this long, legal, expensive process, it is necessary that a nomination is made. So this is not compulsory, but this is convenient, and hence it is advised that everybody should make a nomination. You can make a will, and as mentioned in the will, the person who is authorized to receive the amount becomes the owner of it. Or there is Succession Act, there is Hindu law, or there is Mohammedan law. And according to the provisions of these laws, the ownership of the amount is decided. But we are talking of the person receiving the amount. So ownership can be exercised only when the amount is received. And receiving the amount should be made simple, should be made non-expensive, should be made non-time consuming. And for that, well, nomination is very, very necessary. This is something about nomination today. Let us meet in the next episode with some other concept. Till then, goodbye.